Now, when you look at my cell phone, I have over 1,000 days, 1,325 service days. Now, this phone plan that I have is yearly. Every year I have to renew it. And I've checked, no one's paid any bills for me. I just find it all so strange. Now, it's 9/9/2017, 5:34 a.m. And what's really strange is that if you look at my video called Gang Stalking in America, you will see that when you watch that video, there's parts there where you see people wearing black clothes and they just stand around like in the areas that I'm at observing me. And there's people, you see them wearing black shirts. Then when you look at my video called Unconstitutional Treatment in a Citizens Court, you will see these people wear black shirts. Then when you watch other videos about people, doing like community engagement work or community-oriented policing work, you look at their handbooks. They normally have to wear black clothes or dark colored clothing. So I find it odd that when I go to stores sometimes, these people, they do not come into the store. They will just stand at the exits of a store. And then when I walk out, they'll walk back to their car. Or sometimes what they'll do is there'll be like a car just sitting outside. It can be a white vehicle or a old, I guess, like remodeled, one of these cars that used to be a cop car, like half white or black, whatever. Or it can just be a regular Joe Blow neighborhood watch group captain, whatever. And they'll be in a car, and then one person will come out of the car, and they'll just stand there. And then when I walk out, it's like they're waiting for a response. They'll stand like right there at the very middle of the entrance to get a response. And then when I come out, they go back to their car. So it's like these people are intentionally trying to get a response. Now, I have a video. It's called Department of Defense, or no, TI visits Department of Defense. So under there is a link, and you can scroll down, look at the schools that I've gone to, all the harassment I've experienced. So what I feel is happening is that these people are doing everything in their power to violate, not only violate my dignity, but prevent me from excelling in life by harassing me in the community, at school, at home, online. And you can review my video. It's called Censorship in YouTube. And you can see that I've been harassed even online. So this movement involves all areas of my life, harassing me in all areas of my life. Now it's toned down. I'm sure the company Google probably seen that someone was abusing me through the computer and taking advantage of their privileges, so of their contracts. So anyways, it's pretty much all I want to share. I want to save this clip so that way in the future I can show that, hey, I'm not lying, that I am being harassed, and these people wearing black shirts try to make their presence known, and that if we were to look at their backgrounds, we'd find out a lot of them are involved in community policing and stuff, or an intelligence agency. Peace. Now, a lot of targeted individuals have no idea that there are organizations which may help you to have a congressional investigation conducted. So instead of just contacting your congressman, why not contact these committees? Then write the chairman of every one of these committees and maybe the vice chairman or vice president of any committee that's involved in these groups, and just do research. I've not tried this, but this may help. So they'll do congressional investigations if you have something good, and they're not entitled to, but it could help you. So when you request a congressional investigation, they will investigate all alleged instances of poor administration and so on, ways to abuse, dishonesty. They will access agencies or their officials' ability to manage and carry on program objectives. So they'll make sure that our government money is not being wasted and not being used to cause harm to people. Then I have another link there on the very top from justanswer.com to write an effective request for a congressional inquiry, which may be good. So I'm not going to read every single thing here. It's just so many little notes that I've made for myself. And then you also may want to see if you have if you live in a capital area of a state, if there's a House of a Committee of Appropriations you can go to. And a lot of times you can
actually in any state, you can go and sign up and speak for a few minutes if there's like a certain bill you want to talk about. And then I have how to make a congressional complaint if you're in the military, if you're going to whistleblow. Let me see what else on here. So yeah, constituent services. Constituent services is something that you may also want to look at. You may want to go to your state governor's website, your city commissioner, city mayor, town manager, representatives, and look for a constituent form. If you don't see one on there, request one. See what they can do to help you. So when you fill out that form, they normally respond back. So if you have any issues or you need help, they'll help you out. So some don't. If you don't get a response back, don't take it personal. But some don't. Some are just too busy, or they don't find your case to be something that needs to be taken care of right then and there. You know. So just keep contacting people until you find someone that finds their case worthy of being investigated. So I also want to go on. You know, I'm someone that was accused of a murder of an Air Force pilot back in 1996. I lost a major lawsuit. And then my girlfriend had accused me of the murder of this Air Force pilot that I never met in my life. I took a polygraph test and passed it 18 times. But I've been systematically harassed in every state that I've moved to. Now, after experiencing all my friends lie and turn their back out on me, and having a letter that my girlfriend Renee LaPointe at that time had wrote for me being confiscated by the U.S. Federal Marshals, I realized that these people wanted to try to bring me down, and they wanted to put it on me no matter what. So I discovered that these people were offered money to turn their back on me. So I started to get a little bit involved in activism, and started to make videos about different stuff, anything I found to be un-American. And a lot of these videos I did not finish. I was locked out of my account. Like this video, I was unable to finish. And I made this video called the Southern Poverty Law Center. Actually, I lost my internet connection, so I don't know what's going on here. Maybe I have the button off. So that video, let me refresh it 1 second. After making that video, I was systematically harassed by women all over town. Then I've started to have encounters with different organizations. Now, just because I utilize my freedom of speech, I'm being targeted. And I found out that even the ADL moderates YouTube comments and videos. Look at my video called Censorship in YouTube. Maybe it's not them, but I find it really weird. So we see that they are supporters, they're against the patriarchy. Well, we know that the Hindu scriptures, the Bible, all the major religions all support the patriarchy. So we look at these people train law enforcement, and I'm not speaking bad about them. Hold on 1 second. So that video I wanted to share a minute ago is now coming up. Now, see, I'll come back to this video in a minute. The volume came up on it. So let me go back to what I was sharing earlier. Oh, and then also, let me go back. When you look at that information I shared about congressional research, or to get a congressional investigation conducted, also contact these organizations. You can, let me see, hold on, let me scroll up. Look at this PDF. It's called Congressional Research Service, Congressional Oversight Manual. Just look for the PDF. That has some other information that can be very useful. Actually, I was hacked while making this. Before I made this video, the information I wanted to share of other links was removed. So let me go back to what I was sharing earlier. 1 second, please. So this organization is not a bad organization, but it's like it's tied to local. So my camera battery just went dead a little while ago, so I have more juice. So I'm going to finish this video. So when I study the history of this organization, I discover a lot of really bad stuff. They have a history of committing some horrible crimes against our government, but our government supports them. The FBI, all these different organizations, our police force is full of volunteers and people that support this organization, especially here in Austin. The Jewish newspaper is bigger than the city newspaper. So there's a massive group of Jews here. And I have nothing against them, but what I find very interesting is that these people support these feminists. And let's look at what feminism is doing to America. So this is in 1960, 62% of the nation's 18 to 34-year-olds were living with a spouse or a partner. Now, we live in a different time, people. Now we have people saying that we have rape culture. Let's go back to what the ADL talks about there. They're against sexism, patriarchy, rape culture. But let's look at what these feminists promote. That's something else. I had an abortion, This is not funny stuff. I mean, this is really sick. And then when we look at the suffrage movement, which is where the feminist movement came from, it was created the same day that Karl Marx wrote his first book. So what was it, the Communist Manifesto? It was just 2 months later, all of a sudden, the feminist movement is born. So we look at the isms, feminism, Marxism. And then we look at what's happening now because of feminism. Look at this. We have grown men living with mommy and daddy. And according to the FBI, I think it's 98% of men make up all active shooters. So we have grown men now living with mommy and daddy playing video games. And look, people are saying we have a rape culture. It doesn't exist in America. There's no organizations or men promoting this. I've never seen a rape in my life. So this is what's going on, people. And then when you speak against it, you speak against anything that's going on, what's being put in our food, and you can become targeted. A targeted individual. So our kids are becoming sick. They're going to be the next generation of people to wipe our butts. And they're going to be coming into a world where we have groups preaching that the patriarchy is wrong. Now, when we look at all major religions, there's actually scriptures I've read about curses upon people that actually try to destroy the family. So we see that we have groups that want to destroy our traditions. And these are scriptures. These are scriptures on these links right here. You can go check them out. Some are against women's rights. I think we need more women's rights groups. But all this stuff with feminism and Marxism, or being topless and all this stuff, trying to condition people to believe that breastfeeding in public is okay, being topless is okay, sharing bathrooms and toilets with transgender people and transsexuals is okay in our schools and with our kids. It's not okay. It's sick. So we live in a really sick time. When we look at what's happening around the world, it makes you wonder, we're going to be the next ones to probably get striked out here. We've been striking all these nations. So check this out, these different organizations, before contacting your congressman for an investigation. Maybe they can conduct it if you have a lot of evidence. And let's say they're not interested in helping targeted individuals. If we keep writing these people, then after some time, they're going to say, hey, we have too many people asking for help. Because if you're asking the police for help, the FBI for help, you're not going to get it. They're not going to help you. They're not interested in helping targeted individuals. If you write Department of Justice, they're not going to help. They have never helped one targeted individual out of the 1 million reports that they have on their statistics. Excuse me. Their statistics state that it's over 1 million people being gang-stalked. They're not going to help you because they fund it. Why would someone want to help you when they're trying to kill you? So remember that that our congressmen are here to help us, but they can't help us if they don't know what's going on. So you have to try to see about getting some type of an investigation done. And also note that police don't want to help you because they're using informants a lot of times, and in their state laws and their handbooks, it's illegal for them to expose them. So they don't want to make a report, because then what happens is that they're exposing an informant. So these movements are hidden and they're done daily. Now I wrote a little definition here. Where's it at? It's let me see if I can find it here. The definition of gang stalking. I wrote it down, but it's pretty much, I'll just explain how I see it. Gang stalking is pretty much a movement to cause a person to look mentally ill, deranged, delusional when they're really not. It's something that was used by the Stasi movement, by the Stasi police, the Germans, and it's been integrated into our police force and through a group called a Citizens Corps, the FBI. And what they do is they systematically harass and follow people. And it's like a no-touch torture thing. And it's every single day they show the signs that they're watching and monitoring you, validating your space. And in turn, it's led to serious events. And these activities happen in our schools, in our churches, and in our communities. And we look on YouTube and you look at what other targeted individuals are saying and people that have whistleblowed from the Navy and different agencies, you will find out that what I'm saying is not only true, but other people are experiencing it. I have letters from ex-FBI agents. I have polygraph reports. And what I'm sharing is real, people. This gang stalking is very real. Okay, a while ago I made a video called The Southern Poverty Law Center Names Men's Rights Activists, MRAs, as a hate group. Put it on archive.com.org, I believe it's called. And then you'll notice that my little Buddha, it's an Amitabha Buddha. It's a holy Buddha. And I put my sunglasses on it because that was, I'm very minimalistic. As you said, just have my computer, my table, and my bed. And at night, I thought it looked cool to see my little Buddha with his sunglasses. Well, someone took it personal. And afterwards, I was systematically harassed. And I went on an airplane to visit a relative, and my seat was changed, and someone sat next to me wearing the same shirt and the same exact sunglasses, and had their body turned towards me the whole entire flight, looking at me wearing sunglasses. So I started doing research and found out that this organization is the one that puts people on lists and stuff like Department of Homeland Security, Department of Defense. These people pretty much take their information, like the FBI. They take their information about who they want to be on a list. So it can be Ron Paul or it can be any conservative. And I'm not a men's rights activist, but I support veterans having the right to rent in ghettos, to have access to low-income housing. I support men being able to reunite with their families if they made a mistake and move into a ghetto. And laws are now changing, but for decades, many men were denied the right to rent in ghettos and forced in a situation where they would lash out or commit more crimes. So this was done deliberately to harm people. And I spoke against it and I wasn't able to finish this video. I was locked out of my account. It was hacked. I don't know who did it, but every blog that I made has been hacked and destroyed for like the past 10 years. So I started to look and find out that this organization is connected to many levels of government. The ADL, all these liberal organizations, and they get money from the feminist majority, I think it is, and a lot of radical feminist groups. They're probably tied to the UN, different groups in the UK. So I started to discover that when I started to look at my videos around this time, after this time, I made this video, I can actually prove that I've been systematically harassed by a tremendous amount of women in state to state. And what I believe has happened. Actually, that's not what I believe. It's what I know for sure to have happened. Is that I've been targeted through DHS because when I look at my videos, I'm seeing a combination of U.S. Army, U.S. Air Force, FBI, and different agencies. So I contacted the Department of Homeland Security and I spoke with their hotline concerning gang stalking and harassment and all this stuff that I was experiencing. And afterwards experienced it even more directly from buildings where fusion centers are at. So it's being used against me to target me more to see if I'm going to lash out, which I haven't. So I just wanted to share that's one reason why my targeting has increased, is because I believe that men should be able to rent in ghettos.
Now I have this video here called Censorship in YouTube. Check it out. I've experienced a tremendous amount of censorship. And I started doing research and found out that the Anti-Defamation League, also known as the ADL, is into moderating YouTube. And we know that
DoD and other agencies have access to Google databases, so I'm sure they can do some moderating themselves also. But we have to realize that this organization promotes stuff that they would never be allowed to promote in Israel, but they promote it here in America. So I'm not anti-Semitic, but I have the right to freedom of speech. Anyone that would want to censor freedom of speech is involved in anti-American or unconstitutional treatment towards Americans. Americans have the right to believe differently. It's like if you're a pastor and you don't support homosexuality, late-term abortions, you don't support breastfeeding in public or toplessness in public, you have the right to believe such. But we have groups that if you don't believe in how they believe and what they support, then you are considered anti-Semitic. Now, we know from my videos that I have complained persistently about harassment. And while talking to a person, he works at the Joint Counterterrorism Office on North Lamar, I was harassed. And I explained to him I was being followed around by women harassing me persistently in the community. Now, what I find interesting is that the police told me that the woman that was harassing me worked for AT&T, but she actually exited the Department of Public Safety office building, and about 40 to 45 women exited that building at the same time. Now, I believe this comment is hogwash, as she put down on her. Her name is like Donna Tellerisi Lowe. I can't even pronounce her name. It's a weird name. It's probably Italian. So, but what I find strange is that they mentioned that she worked for AT&T. I don't believe it to be true, but you never know. They have community engagement agreements, DoD and different agencies with AT&T. But they're a good organization. And there's also weapons that can be used to harm people. You can find them out here on this site. I mean, there's all types of technologies. A lot of target individuals complain about weapons being used on them, and they do exist, and they can be bought online. Now, when we go to my email, I complained about the censorship, and these are my responses that I got back from people. They all appear to be mostly a part of like the Illuminati. When we look here, I would say but more than half of these comments are from people that mention stuff about the Illuminati. See? Night Mason. So it's just strange. So I got back and you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I got 11 comments back. Now let's go through these comments to see. One of them comes from Apple, support a gamer. Look at this guy. See what he says. Are you looking for fame and you see Illuminati 666? It's just, you know, I just find it strange that quite a few of my comments you see relating to Illuminati. And I have nothing against Illuminati. I actually was friends with this lady that she was a part of it. I really liked her a lot. Things didn't work out. But I just find it strange. And then when you look on my video, censorship in YouTube, you see that I have been censored, and I showed the proof. And I'm not blaming the ADL for blocking a lot of my content. But one thing is for sure, that I have been harassed in Austin, and I have been followed and harassed by Jews. And I did, after experiencing harassment, I went by there to see if anyone would follow me, and I drove away, and I haven't been back since. And I did notice someone wearing all black clothing kind of monitoring me and stuff. I found it really weird, and I was followed around by a lot of Jewish people. And I have nothing against Jewish people. So it's pretty much all I want to share. That I'm going to remove myself, unsubscribe from that forum, and hopefully this harassment is going to stop. I've been systematically harassed, harassed nonstop, and I just find it weird that this person mentions AT&T, but I believe what they're saying is a bunch of hogwash. But I do believe that they may have community engagement agreements with maybe neighborhood watch groups, because I've actually looked and see they are involved in community engagement. And a lot of corporations have what's called a community engagement director, community engagement teams, and some of them are involved in neighborhood watch. So there is a possibility that these groups have good intentions but are being abused by the system. So I've also received a lot of harassment threats online, and I have contemplated taking some of these people to court. And I've noticed that this stalking goes as far as even the city. I'm not saying they're the ones doing it, but I am 100%, 99% sure, I'm 100% sure that the city of Austin knows about this gang stalking and organized harassment, which is operating under titles like community-oriented policing, community engagement, community revitalization, and so on. And I'm in no house speaking bad about the ADL, but they have to realize that this is an American country. And as an American, we have the right to freedom of speech. And if we believe differently from your organization or your beliefs, it does not give you the right under the U.S. Constitution to censor Americans. So I'm just hoping that these people that are involved in moderating our YouTube channels are not censoring us because maybe we don't, we believe in a different way. Like, I'm not against Jews, but if a person's a nationalist, if they're a higher Christian and they have different views, I'm not going to try to censor them because maybe they don't like a Jew or maybe they don't believe in what they believe in. And from what it sounds like, No Room for Hate, it's like, hey, you don't believe in how we believe and you hate us, you're a bigot, That's like people in the churches, they don't agree with homosexuality. I'm not a church person, but if I was a pastor and I didn't believe in homosexuality, then I would speak against it. So that means that these organizations will call it bigotry, hate, when really our country was founded on, family values and morals. And that's what these organizations should be promoting more than anything else in America. And being a light for the nation of Israel instead of being a thorn in our sides. This is how I feel. I have the right to freedom of speech. I harm no person, own no weapons, and just utilize my freedom of speech, because if I lose my freedom of speech, that means I have to go to another country. If I cannot speak against unconstitutional or things that I find unfair in America, then I'm not free. I'm in a place no different than a prison. Thank you for listening. God bless. Peace.
I share this saying that came from Karl Marx, and he says, Karl Marx knew he was doomed. Thus heaven I've forfeited. I knew it full well. My soul, once true to God, is chosen for hell. This profound sadness is now proliferating, and the destruction of the lives of millions of people as progress. This is the father of liberals, communist.
Behind me. So I want you guys to see this. Look at this. You see that? And over there is an RV. So this is every day, people. You see that? Behind that RV is actually another white vehicle. So this is every day. When I drive anywhere on the road, if you look forward, you will not see that combination anywhere in America. Now let me pull off the road, because I want you guys to see. So that way you guys can get an idea.